everybody. How are you all? You good? Oh, a bit shaky and nervous. Welcome to BAFTA Scotland Awards. I'm Edith Bowman, honoured and very excited to be back with you here in Glasgow to celebrate our screen industry's brightest and best with work that's thrilled, that's entertained, that's inspired and moved us, and in particular made us think, how did he do that?
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Up Late with Nicola Benedetti.
Oh, goodness. It's really been the greatest pleasure of my career to spend so many Augusts immersed in the biggest cultural festival in the world that we're so lucky to have on our doorstep. So a big thank you to Barbara Lee and Sky Arts for enabling us to continue doing that by commissioning these two really unique concerts. Thank you, of course, to the Edinburgh International Festival, Nicola Benedetti and all the musicians for allowing us access and working with us to find a way to film that hopefully didn't spoil the intimate experience for the audience in the gorgeous hub venue. Thank you, of course, to the production team. I don't know why some of them aren't here. Andrew, Donald, Louise, and everyone who can't be here tonight. To my old colleagues at BBC, all our brilliant crew, and everyone who worked out how to fit an entire live studio recording facility into about a 6x6 kitchen. To my current colleagues at IWC for their brilliant production support, and to Rachel and Brian for the lovely grade and dub. And just a massive thank you to BAFTA and everyone who voted for us. We're really chuffed. Thanks.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Kids on the Psychiatric Ward. Disclosure.
Okay, okay, we'll give this a go. Thank you so much, BAFTA Scotland. Thanks to the judges for recognising this film, especially in the face of such stiff competition, not least from our own colleagues on Disclosure. Thanks to BBC Scotland for continuing to fund difficult, complicated journalism. I want to say something about the kids in this film. Dozens of these young people told us what life was like in this hospital. Some of them were brave enough to go on the record and tell the world about it. And it was one of the privileges of our careers to give them a voice. They wanted to try and change things for the next generation, and that is actually happening. And actually, that is the power that television still has. And so, on behalf of this unbelievably hard-working team of journalists who sweated blood with me to get this film over the line, we will accept this award gratefully, but we dedicate it to all the kids on the Psychiatric Awards.
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to The Hunt for Peter Tobin.
These films were, for a lot of reasons, too boring to go into just now, really hard to make, and they wouldn't have happened at all if it hadn't been for such an amazing bunch of people, everyone up on stage here, coming together and just kind of working their asses off, basically. A few people that aren't up here, thanks to David Harron from BBC Scotland for commissioning this series and for being so supportive over the years. Thanks to B Squared, who did all the posts for the production. Thanks to Nessa, who found all the archive, which is an incredible part of the programme. I'm going to forget loads of people, sorry. Jason Hillier, who did the graphics. Lucy, who mixed the series. But the only reason any of us are up here today is because of one woman, really. And we're delighted that she's here today. It's Vicky Hamilton's sister, Lindsay. We lost track of the amount of people who watched this, and the first and only thing they said was how inspiring and dignified you were in this. So this is for you, Lindsay. This is for your mum and your sister, the memory of your sister, and Thanks so much.
Thank you. I would just like to say very thank you for this award. Firecrest were absolutely wonderful for me. I think in television it's easy to forget the real people involved with this. And I'm obviously a real person. So I want to thank you for remembering Vicky instead of the sensationalism of serial killers that everybody seems to love true crime at the minute. So it's really important that we remember the victims and the victims' family for these things. So thank you very much.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to... Dramatic pause. All aboard Scottish Poshest.
Thank you very much. I have to say it's a great honour. Thank you to BAFTA Scotland. Thank you to Channel 4, Deborah Dunnett, who was really supportive when we were making this. We were a really small team making this, so thanks to all of them. I'll miss people out, but Carlo D'Alessandro, who was our DOP, Kiri McTavish, who was our production manager, our editor, Scott and Phil, James, who did the music. But not most of all, I would like to say, I'd like to thank the Royal Scotsman, because it was a huge thing for them to let us on this train, a camera crew where there's not a lot of space, and people are paying £7,000 per person for 2 nights. And they were brilliant, they accommodated us, and we had a great time. The last thing I'd like to say is, thank you to Alan Cumming. If any of you haven't worked with him before, try and do it. It's an utter joy. Thank you.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Imagine, the Academy of Armando.
Thank you very much. Thank you, BAFTA. It was a real joy to make this film about somebody that I've always admired so much. So thank you, Armando. I'd like to thank the Imagine team and the people who couldn't be with us tonight. So that includes our editor, Gary Scott, and archive producer, Daniel Taylor. But of course, someone else who couldn't be with us tonight is Alan Yentob. We didn't know when we started making this film that it would be Alan's last Imagine. He has series edited and fronted Imagine for over 20 years, and I know many people in this room will have worked with him. And so this one is for Alan.
I will keep it very brief, but I'm only here because, as Catherine said, there is someone who can't make it here. And Alan, who was probably present at every entertainment event that's ever been held. It's just odd to think of him not being here. And although I think people who didn't know him closely saw him as someone who was, friend of the stars, he was actually, I found, and I've known him for decades, actually quite modest about what he does, which is to encourage new talent and to make people who are creative really believe in themselves. And he gave people permission to take risks and to be adventurous in what they do. And I owe him an enormous debt. So, and this week of all weeks, I'm sure everyone was asking when the BBC was on fire, what would Alan say? He would be out there defending public service broadcasting, the BBC. Of course it makes mistakes, but we're there because it works and people love what it does. So this is really an honour of him. Thank you very much.
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Paternal Advice.
Thank you so much, BAFTA. I only wrote this down because I didn't want to make any mistakes. So just a big thank you to Janice Galloway for giving me permission to adapt. To the cast, crew, agents, festival programmers, thank you. Screen Scotland, Short Circuit, BFI, my beautiful family, thank you. And the BFI National Lottery, thank you.
And the BAFTA Scotland Audience Award goes to Sheli McCoy, Gladiators.
Wow. Wow. I have honestly been within this industry for such a short space of time, and to be recognised for my best efforts considered acting is phenomenal. I just want to make a couple thank yous, and I also have a massive apology to make. So my thank yous go to Hungry Bear, who have put me in this position. Lou's over there, she'll be the loud one, you'll see her. And the BBC and MGM, who partnered to bring Gladiators back to life, which we love. And my entire cast, we really are best friends. I love every single one of them. And in the back room, they all bring me to life as Sabre and kick me out there in a foul mood. And that's how I do what I do. And the apology. In the first week that I became Sabre, I had no acting experience whatsoever. I was making it up as I was going along. And in the back room, there's a locker room. You may have seen those scenes. I feature in them a lot. And I cried in the face of our producer, our locker room producer. He's affectionately known as Locker Room Bill. And so if he's watching, I just want to say, Bill, I'm really sorry, because when I screamed at you that I was just an athlete and not an actress, I stand here now as a BAFTA award-winning actress, so I am sorry. Thank you so much.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Matt Pinder, The Hunt for Peter Tobin.
We've been lucky enough to be up here already once this evening, so I'll not bore you with loads of thanks, but thank you to Firecrest Films, thank you to the BBC again, and thank you to BAFTA Scotland for continuing to support and champion the role of director, which sounds like a weird thing to say and maybe a bit pretentious as well, but in a world of data analysis and algorithms and AI, it feels like the role of the director is getting squeezed a wee bit in some unnatural and unwelcome ways. And it's only when you let directors and writers and actors and camera folk and editors express themselves that you get films that look and sound different and worth watching. So the Outrun proves that, Ludwig proves that, Jack's film about Roger Moore proves that, Anne Claire's brilliant film proves that. So yeah, I just want to say thanks to BAFTA for this. I'll stop going on. Thank you.
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Nora Fingscheidt for The Outrun.
I'm so delighted to pick this up for Nora. I'm so sorry she can't be here. I'm going to read some words that she sent to me, but I also want to take the opportunity to say that Nora is a visionary. She is the hardest working person I think I've ever met, and she brought such care and integrity and intelligence to our adaptation of The Outrun, and it's a treat to be able to say that and now to read her words. I'm very honoured, very proud, and wish I could be there in person, but our baby got sick, so I have to stay in Berlin. A directing award always feels to me like it goes out to the whole team. Directing is like conducting an orchestra. It's about channeling and guiding the shared creative energy of a collective. And I'm so grateful that I was allowed to work with so many talented people who also became my friends. Therefore, I want to share this award with the whole cast and crew. First and foremost, the incredible Saoirse Ronan, who carries this film on her shoulders. I want to thank the producers for this wild journey, the financiers, including BBC Film and Screen Scotland, all the Orkney locals who were so supportive, and last but not least, I want to thank Amy Liptrot and her family for the trust that I have been given. Have a wonderful party tonight. I'm thinking of you all.
So please join us in congratulating the long-serving, the sublimely calm and talented exec producer, Gerard Costello, his current fantastic team, on a quarter of a century of the phenomenal show that is Location, Location, Location.
Oh, thank you. It's so great being at the BAFTAs, but it's even better knowing you're definitely leaving with a trophy. This must be how the guys at Firecrest feel every single year. And it's amazing. Joe very kindly called me Cam before, but I wasn't when BAFTA first told me about this. Yes, I was delighted, but also a little overwhelmed. You're an intimidating room. But there's so many people in the 25-year history of this show who deserve a thank you. In one speech, I won't manage to name everyone, but I'm sure a room that hasn't yet eaten will forgive me for that. I will thank BAFTA for recognising the show, particularly for its contribution to Scotland's screen industry. Before I came along, it had already kicked off an era of popular factual network commissions made here in Scotland. People including Hamish Barber, Zad Rogers and Paul Murray started a show that would go on to be a stalwart of the channel for 25 years and, thankfully, still counting. It began with just 5 half-hour episodes, but since then it's generated nearly 2,000 freelance roles, the vast majority of which have gone to people living and working here in Scotland. And I'm so pleased that this award celebrates that. I want to thank Channel 4, particularly those there now, Deborah Dunnett, Clemency Green and Jasper Hone, who have all been its commissioners. And of course, the wonderful Jo Street, for her continued faith in it. New series coming next year. I think all of us should be proud that when it came time for the Channel 4 Lifestyle Department's own big house move, it came from London to here in Glasgow, where it continues to thrive in a production centre that now has that genre flowing in its veins. I'd say that's at least in part thanks to the legacy of those 5 half-hour shows back in 2000. The only people who've been with the show since the very start are Kirsty Allsop and Phil Spencer. Yes, why not? They may not be an actual couple, but it has been a pleasure to celebrate the silver anniversary with them this year. These 2 skilled property finders initially signed up to do a pilot. Kirsty, at least, thought the company would get the real presenters in later. Well, suffice to say, we haven't needed them as yet. Because Kirsty and Phil also turned out to be world-class TV talents with a unique chemistry on screen. The series depends on people trusting us with their house searches. I want to thank all of them, but what people don't see is that Kirsty and Phil often work with them for days, weeks, and months after the cameras stop to ensure they get their new home. 90% of the searches in the last series ended in success. The show has lasted to have this impact on our industry because often it's genuinely life-changing for the people, and that makes great telly. Thank you to Kirsty and Phil, whose talent, hard work and dedication is impossible to replicate. This word is overused, but not for you. In this TV genre, you're nothing less than icons. And at the very least, icon adjacent are those with me on stage. Julian Sinclair, the series producer, Scarlett Blockley, the production manager, and the production executive, Catherine Ross. They are brilliant. And they represent countless talented people over the years, many of whom are in this very room, and many for whom this show has been a career escalator. Catherine herself was once a production coordinator on the show, as was IWC's head of production, Selina McCoy. The company's former office runner, Harriet Powell, series produced their 25th anniversary specials this year, and directors on the series have gone on to become commissioners at BBC and Channel 4. It's on shows like this one that careers are built, that channel schedules are built, and a company is built. IWC is led by Mark Downey, who I thank too, because he creates the kind of inspiring and nurturing environment in which programmes and programme makers can thrive. To finish, BAFTA kindly says that this programme has made an outstanding contribution to Scotland's screen industry. But that's nothing compared to the contribution that Scotland's screen industry has made to our programme. And on a show like this, where working as a team is so vital in ways that maybe only people who work on such shows understand, perhaps it's actually easy to thank everyone. Because if I was to name my favourite team member, that is everyone. This is a show where everyone always pulls more than their weight. Sometimes it's hard to bring the show together, but I know it'll be okay because everyone will sort that out. Challenges are more bearable and successes all the sweeter because everyone is there to share them. This and any production of its size and longevity thrives on everyone. And as anyone who's worked in TV for the last few years knows, where our industry falters and where it shows the worst of itself is when it forgets that it takes everyone to make a success. I'm proud to accept this award on behalf of everyone, on behalf of 25 years of everyone. All of you know who you are. And thank you, but this wouldn't quite be complete without a final few words from Phil Spencer.
Thank you. I just wanted to pick up on that word that Jerry absolutely rightly used there, everybody. Jerry, you also said some kind words about Kirsty and I, but Kirsty and I couldn't begin to do what we do if the right houses hadn't been found. And I think even more importantly, if the house hunters didn't feel loved, cared for, listened to, and respected. And it is only when they feel loved, cared for, listened to, and respected that they feel even remotely inclined to make what is life-changing decisions in front of a bunch of strangers going on telly. Choosing a house to buy and how much to pay for it, that is one of the biggest emotional, financial decisions any of us ever take. So I have absolute respect for people coming on the show, but we never forget how important that decision is and how important it is that we look after them. And if we do that right, then and if we find the right houses, then we're in with the chance of making a decent piece of television. When we are at work, it is not just about making telly. It is about trying to change people's lives, and it's very, very satisfying when it goes right. But that means every single person that comes into contact with our house hunters right from the start, right from the very start, every single person has a massive impact and leaves their impression. And it is only when that goes right that Kirsty and I stand a chance of doing what we do. So this really is, as Jerry said, for everybody that's worked on the show. And I think it's about 2,000 people or something that have worked on the show over 25 years. So on behalf of them, thank you. Thank you.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to... It is Saoirse Ronan. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Saoirse Ronan cannot be here this evening, but Zuka Hoyle is going to accept on her behalf.
This is, she just sent me this, so please bear with me as I stumble my way through this. I'm so sorry to not be with you all in the room tonight. The Outrun was an incredible team effort, but there are a few in particular I'd love to thank. namely our director, Nora, for her endless belief in this project, for the time and love she gave to this world and its people, and for making me do a 15-minute take where I violently danced to techno music on my own in a cottage on the Isle of Pappy. Thank you to our brilliant hair and makeup designer and one of my dearest friends, Kat Morgan, for your incredible, tireless work from day one. Your positivity and light has an impact on everyone who comes into your orbit, and I'm so proud to have worked with you and to know you. To the one who carries the genesis of this outrun within her forever, Amy Liptrot. For you to be able to take such darkness and pain and face it head on, to not only find the beauty and the light within, but then to leave it all on the floor for us all to see, for us all to connect to in the way that we did, in the way that we do. Well, that is true courage. You are some women. To the people of Orkney, as I have said 500 times and I will say 500 more, this would not have been possible without you. Your willingness to let us into your lives, your homes, your story, thank you, thank you. You have shaped mine and my husband's life in a multitude of ways. Orkney will always be a part of our story. To Jack, you will not meet anyone more passionate about their country than Jack Loudon. His vocalness and his love of Scotland and the talent it's produced is something we can all learn from. He puts his arm around the young folk on the way up and will go out of his way to openly and publicly revere those that have come before him. An actor with no ego. I didn't know that existed before meeting him. He gave me the outrun and he gave me Scotland. Thank you, Jack. He is also very sorry not to be with you all tonight. There is one person in the room who is very dear to both Jack and I, someone who we have known since our time on Mary, Queen of Scots, and that is Scotland's very own and very finest Mrs. Zuka Hoyle. You bitch. Hopefully you'll win, Zooks, and you won't have to read this. But if you don't win, and I do, firstly, get it up, yeah? Oh, and secondly, you must read the following exactly as written. Izuka played my best friend in the outrun and one of my closest friends in Mary, Queen of Scots. Over the course of the past 8 years, she has become a most treasured friend in real life too. To see her rise and flourish in her work and in her life has been one of the most great joys for me. As a fellow actor and as a friend, I am so, so proud of you and the actor you are, as should all of Scotland be. I'm speaking to you now, Scotland. You have a beautiful, rare gem on your hands. Saoirse. She is bright and brilliant and full of love and talent and truth. The work you've seen from her so far is only the beginning. Watch her soar, look after her, for she is the best of us. Wow, Azuka, that was really arrogant. Thank you, BAFTA Scotland. Hope everyone has a great night. Now, Azuka, get off the stage because you didn't actually win. Saoirse, I love you.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to
Lockerbie. A Search for Truth.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much. The downside is I've got to speak. So I'd like to thank the Academy and all the members for this award. This has been a long journey for many of us. And I'd like to thank my fellow producer, Oscar, who started this project 12 years ago, to Jim and Kirsten Sheridan, and to Liz Trubridge, my producing partner, Gareth Neame, and our producers, Colin, Brian, and Jill. David Harrower, who wrote us the most sensitive and tender script, and our wonderful director, Otto. And a big thank you to all of our cast, who were brilliantly led by the superb and frankly quite delicious Colin Firth and Catherine McCormack. I'd like to thank every member of our Scottish crew, and also to Sam Hoyle and Sky, our partners, alongside Peacock, Universal International Studios, and my colleagues at Carnival Films. And our heartfelt thanks to Jim and Jane Swire, who allowed us and trusted us to tell their very personal stories. And finally, one last thought, for all of the victims of the Lockerbie disaster, our hearts go out to you.
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to Laura Carreira on Falling.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my God. Right, I hope this recognizes my face. Let's try it. All right. Thank you very much to the jury, and thank you to the entire team. This is an award that really belongs to everyone who made this film with me. Many of you are here tonight. And I want to especially thank Joanna for bringing Nora to life and being just an incredible actress. It's also her birthday today. So happy birthday, Joanna. And thank you for joining this journey with me. Thank you to all the actors, to our producers at 16 Films, thank you to all our heads of department, and thank you to the crew. You are all incredibly talented, and you were kind and funny, and it was just an absolute joy to get to work with you. And thank you to all of our funders for taking a risk on letting me make this first feature and for believing in this script. Thank you so much. I also owe a huge thank you to the warehouse workers that took the time to talk to me about their lives when I was writing on Falling. Almost every scene was written from their stories of the long shifts, the dehumanizing work of worrying about how they were going to pay their bills, and of the exhaustion and the isolation that they all felt. I wanted this film to be a reflection of their lives and to show that these aren't personal struggles or individual shortcomings, but this is the reality for millions of people in the UK who are struggling every month just to keep their head above the water. Inequality is a choice. It is a choice of continuing to put the wealth of the already very wealthy above the lives of everyone else. And thank you. And we offer this film in solidarity to everyone who might be struggling out there and still resisting. Thank you very much.
The BAFTA Scotland Award goes to James McArdle, For Mothers.
My mum and dad are going to kill me because I said don't bother coming, I'm not winning, and the tickets are a fortune. Hungry. But I just want to say thank you so much for this. It's a genuine shock. And to my fellow nominees who I've absolutely looked up to forever, David Tennant, who made me want to be an actor. And I've had the privilege of working with David on a couple of days in Mary Queen of Scots, and you were so generous and so kind and showed how to lead on a set, which is by example. So I have always looked up to you for that. And now, just to thank everyone that worked on this film, Martina Nyland, Eric Abraham, Jack Seide, there are amazing producers, and this phenomenal cast of those four women. I mean, like, you know, to be trapped on a bus with these four octogenarians was a real joy. And Stella McClusker, Paddy Glynn, Dervla Malloy, and Fionnuala Flanagan were all legends, and I absolutely loved them. But I need to dedicate this award to the writer, Colin Thornton, and the director, Darren Thornton. Two brothers. Darren were so kind, and I trusted you so much, and I would work with you again and again. And Colin Thornton, who wrote the film with Darren, you are one of the bravest, strongest people I know. I love you, and I hope we do this again and again and again. Thank you so much. Cheers.
And the BAFTA Scotland Award goes to
On Falling.
Thank you so much. I really wasn't expecting this, and I mean it. It is an absolute honor, and I've just been up here to thank the whole team, and obviously I'd like to thank them again, because this film would really not be what it is without their support. And they trusted us to take risks, and that means a lot, especially given it's my first film. And just like now I'm really nervous. I was also really nervous about making this film, and you guys really made a difference in allowing me to, be myself, which is great. I wanted to also say something. Even though the film is a little depressing, it was very important for us to keep hope as present as possible. And just the other day, I was in a bus and I overheard a young woman telling a friend that she only had enough money to get to the end of this month, not including food, she said, which I think is a very Scottish way of saying that you're skint. And for a moment, I immediately thought of Aurora, and I wondered what her next weeks would be like. But then I realized she was actually going to be okay, because her friend immediately offered to help. And this, to me, is at the very core of who we are and what the rich and powerful are actually trying to undermine. They're wanting us isolated, divided, and afraid of each other, and they want us to believe that there isn't enough for everyone, while they keep hoarding it all in their doomsday bunkers. And they want us to think that we're actually just self-interested individuals and that in this world we are on our own. But that is not our nature, and it has never been. And the truth is, we are actually only getting through these insane levels of inequality because we are refusing to let one another fall. And because without that care and without that solidarity, none of us would be here for very long. And so I also really want to personally thank everyone in my life who has not let me fall, my family, my partner, my friends. Thank you so much. And yeah, have a good night. Do you want to say something?
Thank you so much for having us here. It's kind of crazy being handed an award by Peter Mullen. 16 Films, which is the company I work for, produced a film called My Name is Joe about 30 years ago, and he is an incredible person to be handed an award from. I'll be really quick. I really want to say a massive shout out to 3 of our heads of department who are here: Kat, hair and makeup; Carol, costume; and Andy, production designer, who working in Scotland is an amazing thing to be able to do, and I'm lucky to have done it a few times, but the crew we had on Unfalling were incredible, and I shout out to all of them. Also, massive shout out to Screen Scotland, who were the first people to join us when we were looking for funding, and were huge supporters all along the way. And our distributor, Conic, who are based just around the corner here in Glasgow. So thank you so much, and yes, thanks so much for this incredible award.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. I just wanted to make sure I had my center line lined up there before I did my speech. Oh, goodness me, that was very amazing. Well, listen, I can't imagine anybody I would rather get this amazing award from than you, Dennis. Absolutely. I grew up looking up to my Uncle Dennis. I mean, wanting to be my Uncle Dennis, and wanting to be an actor, like you say, from a very young age, long before I knew at all really what that meant. I just wanted to be like you, and I still do. And so thank you so much. Dennis taught me how to act, actually taught me what it meant. When I was 16, my mum and dad, who are here tonight, My mum, I'd been driving into Crieff. One night it was raining and the windscreen wipers were going like that. I was going to see my mate Crawford, and I'd done 5 weeks of my 5th year at school. And my brother had been head boy the year before, and I still had another 2 years left. And I did not like it very much. And my mum said, she said, listen, I've been speaking to your dad, and if you want to leave school, you can. I was like, fucking never went back. That was it. You know, not a thought, not a thought. I never went back. So a week later, just for a chance we'd have it, I'd been pestering Perth Repertory Theatre for years to work there, and they were always saying, well, you can't do that because you need to be trained as a stage management or an acting ASM, and you're only you know. And by chance, they were doing a passage to India. That starting rehearsals the next week was just amazing luck. So I ended up in a passage to India as a sort of Indian extra. Should never happen, would never happen today. We don't have to linger on that point. But anyway, I was in the play, and my life went into widescreen, you know, because I was doing what I wanted to do, meeting you people, the people from my people, my world. And Dennis, I couldn't get into drama school because I was still too young, so I wanted to get into, there's two courses in Scotland that I could do, one in Telford in Edinburgh and one in Kirkcaldy College of Technology, a course run by Andy Mackey and Lynn Baines, who changed my life in many ways. But to get into them, I had to do some speeches. So I went to Dennis and I said, can you do these speeches with me? And one of them was from Road, Jim Cartwright's play. And the speech started, it was brilliant because I was Scottish and it wasn't written for a Scotsman, but the speech started, I feel like England is forcing the brain out my head. So I did it in Scots, and it sort of totally changed the dynamic of the speech in a good way. But I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what acting was. I just thought you had to remember the lines and say them. But I didn't know it meant anything. I didn't know what it meant, like a lot of young people. And Dennis said, I'll work on your speeches. So we went to the school gym. My dad organised for us to borrow the school gym that I'd left now. So I went along, I had my earpiece, had an earring, and I went to the gym, and this is not going to reflect well on Glasgow, and I apologise, but I'd just been in Glasgow with some mates, and I'd got beaten up by a guy who I should thank, who were on a train, and he got on the train, he was a bit drunk, and he knocked into a pole that you hold on to, and I just thought I was being funny, and I went, mind the pole, mate, you know. Okay. So when we got off the train, and there's a few of us were walking down the platform, so did he and all his pals, you know, and they were following us down the platform, and I was like, oh God, you know, after a wee while, I was like, leave me alone, leave me alone. He went, what are you going to do about it? And I didn't know. I said, you see this? And he punched me. I was down, I was bleeding, I was on the ground, and I started to run, you know. And his mates started to run after me and my mates. And I had this extraordinary experience of being punched while running from behind, which I didn't know you could even do, but I was running and somebody hit me from behind and I was down again. Anyway, let's cut back to the gym. We're in the gym and I'm trying to do these, I'm trying to remember the lines, say the lines. And Dennis went, stop, stop, stop. Do you remember the guy, remember when you got beaten up in Glasgow? And I was like, it was quite recent, so I was like, yes, yes. He said, okay, think about it. So I started to think about it. He said, think about how it felt, think about how it made you feel, and you know, the pain of it, but also the humiliation of it, and how really did it make you feel that that guy, for no reason, punched you in the face like a few times. And I started thinking about it, and he went, okay, now just what would you say to him? And I was like, don't punch me in the face. And he was like, no, really, really, what would you say? So I started swearing, and like, suddenly this feeling was coming out of me. Like Dad, you didn't know, but the janitor came in at one point. He was like, what's going on in here? Because I was effing and blinding. But he said, okay, now do the speech. And I did the speech, and all of that feeling, and it was now imbued into what I was doing. And I learned in that moment that what acting was. And that's down to you, Dennis. And There's so much of Den in my work. I'm always a bit embarrassed. It's like, but I promise I'm not copying you. I promise it's just like, you are my biggest inspiration. And like, I was doing a play recently, and I was in rehearsals, or towards the opening week, I was terrified. I was always on the phone to Dennis. He's still my acting guru, my acting rock. So thank you for that so much. I'll just do a couple of questions. I know everyone's desperate to have their dinner, but my mum used to run this is funny with Peter Mullen too, my mum used to run a audio description for a film company called Talking Films, and it was her passion, and you were very, very good at it, Mum, and it was an amazing thing that you did. You'd do, you know, for people who are visually impaired, she took it so seriously. She had a script written by professional writers in Scotland. She always hired actors to do the, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard it, it's really a skill. In between the lines of dialogue, somebody's describing what's happening on screen. He moves to the left. He picks up the wine glass. She looks at him. You know, you're describing for a visually impaired person what's happening, so they can now at home enjoy the movie as well. Well, Mum asked me to audio describe Peter Mullen's film, Orphans. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's an absolutely amazing movie. And I'm in this, so I go through to Glasgow, or I can't remember where it was. We're doing the audio description, and my mum's there out through the glass, and she's all proud, and I'm proud too. I don't know if you know how proud I was of you for the work you did, and that an amazing thing. You changed a lot of people's lives by doing what you did. So there's a scene in the film where a guy shunts up. There's a guy in a bathroom with a porn magazine, and he's masturbating into a sink with a porn magazine, and a guy climbs up I don't remember exactly. A guy's climbing up the drain pipe, and he opens the window a crack, and he sees the guy from behind. He's like this. So he sees the guy, and he puts his shotgun through the window. And the guy's like, the man looks like he's enjoying himself. And then in the movie, he tapped his shotgun on the guy's bottom, and the guy turns around and all over his face. And I had to describe that in front of my mum. Anyway, I don't even know if Peter Mullen knew that story. Anyway, also, I just want to thank you all so much, and BAFTA Scotland, thank you so much. You've always been such amazing supporters of my work. And I would be remiss of me before I finish to thank my amazing and beautiful wife, Mary. You have made me want to give up acting because I don't like to go away from you. I don't want to leave you. That's why I love to work with you so much. I've been lucky enough to do it 3 times, and I want to do it more and more. Mary and I are now here in Scotland, so to save us the pain of having to be apart, maybe you could come up with lots of Scottish films that we can be in together. Thank you. Thank you so much.